Somebody make this into an edit. Alright, Crystal, do you know what a goat is? LeBot!
You hear me? Hit the rollie, start with the rollie on. What was our getaway car?
Okay, so we didn't actually build a LeBron Discord bot. But what if I told you that you could become the GOAT of the cloud?
Dead portfolio. You hear me? Hey, I heard I had some sneak dissers. Whoever feeling hot, that AR got a heat sensor.
LeBot helps students and other beginners interact with cloud instances using natural language. We built this project because our team had all struggled working with the cloud before. While some classes do release guides, we often felt like they were too narrow or outdated. So let's check out what our bot can do through a series of demos. Let's see LeBot in action. First, LeBot can answer questions about your instance. Let's say I want to know what directory I'm currently in. I can ask LeBot this question and wait for a response. As we wait, we'll see that LeBot opened up a new thread for the question. Each message in the thread is a description of a step the bot took to complete the request. And once the bot is finally done and completed with the request, it then responds back to the user with a recap of the steps it took and a link back to the thread. Now let's look at a longer horizon plan. Here, we ask LeBot to create a folder and add a text file with some content in it. After a bit of time, we see that the model was able to decompose the task into a set of steps, and after checking the output, we see the edits reflect in our cloud instance. Finally, LeBot also has memory. Let's say we want to delete the file we just created. If you forgot what that file was, no worries. Just reference that it was the last file you created, and LeBot will know the right one to delete.
In addition to simple commands, we can also set up code. You can see here that I'm running a command to clone, set up, and run a GitHub repository. Let's quickly hop over here and just confirm that in my folder currently we don't have anything downloaded. Now let's hop over into the LeBot thread. Okay, what's it doing right now? We can see right now that LeBot is working to clone this repository. This is going to be for a LeBron quote generator, so it'll actually print out a LeBron quote to your terminal. Okay, so we can see that it's now successfully cloned the repository. Perfect. Okay, we can see that it has actually downloaded something. Now let's head into this folder over here and see if it was able to successfully download all the files. Great, okay, we can see all the files that we were looking for. And now if we navigate over back here to the LeBot thread, we can see that it's actually setting up the repository with all its dependencies. Okay, great, we can see that it was actually able to download all of the necessary dependencies by running pip install on the requirements.txt file. Above here, we can actually also see that it navigated successfully into the cloned repository directory after downloading it. We can now see that it is working to actually run the repository. It's also important to note that actually everything that was downloaded in terms of dependencies was set up in a specific con environment for my current user. Okay, perfect. This is the output of running the repository, and we can see that LeBot actually successfully ran the code and printed out a LeBron quote to the terminal.
We will lastly examine how LeBot handles failure cases. To do so, we will look at this command here, where we first ask LeBot to create the file newfile.txt, and to then to give it the contents of non-existent file.txt, which, as the name suggests, does not exist, as we just saw with that quick ls command. We now see that LeBot proceeds to try and create the file newfile.txt. We see that LeBot is successful, which we can validate with another ls command. LeBot then tries to display the contents of non-existent file.txt. As expected, the command failed, and now LeBot will go ahead and try an attempt to undo any altered state that occurred while it tried to execute the entered command. We see, however, that when displaying the contents of non-existent file.txt, this doesn't alter any state. However, we will see that newfile.txt altered some state and will thus be deleted from our VM. We can validate this deletion by doing another ls command, where we see that newfile.txt is now deleted.
In terms of the bot, we followed a standard agentic framework. There's a planner that creates a set of steps for the bot to follow, tools for the agent to use, and memory to keep track of previous requests and results. We also built a set of robust GitHub tools that effectively act as their own mini agents as they parse through readmes, find executable files, and understand how to set up and run a repository. Finally, we also have reflection in the form of failing gracefully in the presence of an error.
In addition to our agentic framework, we also set up some custom solutions for AWS. First, we created a class that simulated a persistent connection to our AWS instance, as AWS's SDK does not have this functionality by default. We also set up our demo such that each Discord user had their own folder and content environment within the /home directory, ensuring no users tampered with another's files. In the future, we hope to test our bot with more repositories and work with other cloud platforms. We can currently set up simple Python, C++, and Bash repos and work on AWS, but we'd love to expand our work to more projects in GCP and Azure. Overall, we're excited for folks to try out LeBot and help people become GOATs of the cloud.